Hello and welcome to episode 28 of Prime Puzzles. Let's get to the individual questions. The first set, Excellent Manpower Limited is a very renowned company in the field of space exploration. It has hundreds of employees working for it in several cities across the world. In one such city called Pochinki, it began its operation in the year 2001 and now has several employees working there. All the employees are divided into four categories according to the total work experience. The four categories are for employees having work experience of 2 years, for employees having work experience of 3 years, for employees having work experience of 4 years, and for employees having work experience of greater than equal to 5 years. Okay. The company calculates the work experience in completed years as on April 1 on each year for categorizing the employees. The following table gives the number of employees in each of these four categories for a period of 4 years from 2001 to 2004 working in the city of Pochinki. Assume that the company recruits no employee having work experience of less than 2 years, okay, and no employee left the job during the period under consideration. Okay, so nobody quit the job. And then we have a table and there is one extra line at the bottom of the table. Every employee needs to have at least 2 years of experience before joining. Okay, so nobody can have less than 2 years of work ex. Questions are about how many new employees joined the company in the year 2002 who belong to grade B, how many new employees joined the company in the year 2003, how many new employees joined the company, how many new employees joined the company, which means we are focusing only on the new people who have joined. So let's make a table of people who have joined, and how we do that is A, B, C, and D in 2001, in 2002, in 2003, and in 2004. Let us just draw the line so that the recording seems appropriate. Okay. Let's see. Now, these people who were in grade A in 2001, people who were in grade A in 2001, these 68 people, when the next year rolls around, these people will definitely go to grade B, because by then, in 1 year more work X they have accrued. So they would now have 3 years of work X. But here you don't have 54, you don't have 68 people, you have 110 people, which means how many new people had joined B in 2002? 110 minus 68, which is equal to 42. 42 people had joined B. In the same way, the expectation is these 79 people would have moved on to grade B in 2002, but the number is being how much? Is how much? 110. So 31 new people have joined. 110 minus 79 equal to 31 new people have joined. In the same way, 29 people have joined here. 83 minus 54. 29 new people have joined. Okay. Given that the company, it began its operation in 2001. The company began its operation in 2001. Can I also say in 2001, the number of employees who joined are the number of employees that are given here. So for the first year, the numbers are very straightforward. 68, 54, 33, and 28. These numbers are set. For 2002, this 79 who are there in grade A in 2002, all these people would have joined A in 2002 only, because prior to 2002 they would have less than 2 years of work ex, so they can't really be hired. So these numbers 54 here and 47 here is uniquely determinable. This is done. Let us look at this now. People who were in grade B in 2001, when they go to 2002, they would now have more than 3 years of work ex. They would have 4 years of work ex. But 54 people should have moved on to here. But I have 73 people here. So how many new people were hired? 73 minus 54 which is equal to 19. Similarly, 23 new people have joined here, which is 133 minus 110. And then finally, 19 new people have joined here, 129 minus 110. So 19 new people. But the storyline will change somewhat here. Can you see? The people who are in grade D, it's not like they move on to some other grade. They also they remain in grade D even in the next year. So for the final column, when we want to see how many people joined, we would have to do 78 minus 33 minus 28. 17 new people have joined. 33 people who were previously grade C or had 4 years of work ex will now have 5 or more years of work ex, and these 28 people who already had more than 5 years of work ex will continue in grade D itself. So 17 new people have joined. Then for this year, it would be 166 minus 73 minus 78. This will add up to 15. Okay. And for the final year, it will be 308 minus 133 minus 166. So 9 new people have joined in grade D. Okay. One good thing about this company, Excellent Manpower, I see is they do the maximum hiring in grade A and minimum hiring in grade D, which is nice. Okay. How many new employees joined the company in the year 2002 who belonged to grade B? Grade B 2002 new hires were 42. How many new employees joined the company in 2003 who belonged to grade A or grade D? Grade A or grade D, these two numbers add up to 69, 54 and 15. How many new employees joined the company in the year 2002 who did not belong to grade D? Who did not belong to grade D, which means I need to add up these three numbers, 79 and 42 and 19. 79 and 19 is 98. So how many people joined? 140 people joined. Okay. Last, how many new employees joined the company over the given period who did not have work experience of less than 4 years? Who did not have work experience of less than 4 years? Okay. So people who joined who did not have work experience of less than 4 years would be people who have joined in C or have joined in D. So we need summation of this column: 33 plus 19, 52, 52 plus 19, 71, 71 plus 23, 94. Let me be certain. 38 plus 33, 71, 71 plus 23 is 94. Yes. Now for the last column, 24 plus 28, 52, 52 plus 17, 69. Again, 28 plus 50, 17, 45, 45 plus 15 is 60, 60 plus 9 is 69. Okay. So these two numbers I have to add up. So I would do this as 63 and this as 100. And the final answer for the question in the set is 163. This is a fairly straightforward set, and all it requires for you to do is interpret this table correctly. Once you're done with interpreting the table, everything else should fall into place fairly smoothly. Moving on to the next set. Oh, I had made space for solving this question on the next page, but then I ended up solving it entirely on the first page itself. So that's fine. Moving on. Next question, fun question. The World Series of Track and Field Athletic Championship generates a lot of interest among its fan followers. In the recently held championship in Geneva, 400 sports enthusiasts were present to witness the spectacle. Each sport fan was wearing a t-shirt of a color among colors magenta, orange, purple, green, and amethyst. The following graph gives the number of fans wearing t-shirts of a particular color. Okay, we have that graph here. Oh, I don't know how this arrow came here, but okay. We have that graph here. We have 86 people wearing a magenta t-shirt. We have 78 people wearing an amethyst t-shirt. We have 54 people wearing an orange t-shirt. We have 62 people wearing a purple t-shirt. We have 120 people wearing a green t-shirt. Okay. After the culmination of the championship, out of respect for the game, each of the 400 fans exchanged his or her t-shirt with one other person from the group. Assume that a fan may make more than one exchange of a t-shirt. Okay, so a magenta fellow will exchange it with orange, and then that magenta fellow who now has an orange t-shirt might go ahead and exchange it with one green t-shirt wearing person as well. So you can have more than one exchanges. Okay. Once all the exchanges were over, one of the bystanders witnessing the exchange made the following observations. Before and after the exchange, each of the 400 fans was wearing only one t-shirt. Okay, so if you have initially one t-shirt and finally also you have one t-shirt. Okay, everybody has one t-shirt. Let me just confirm if the summation of the numbers here adds up to 400. 120, 78 and 62 will add up to 140, and 86 and 54 will add up to 140. 140 is 280. 280 plus 120 is 400. Yes, so this graph gives me information about everyone. Everyone has one t-shirt at the beginning and at the end. After the exchange, no one was wearing a t-shirt of his initial color. Okay, so all 86 people who initially had a magenta color t-shirt moved on to wearing something t-shirt of some other color later on. Okay, 16 fans who were wearing a purple t-shirt initially were wearing a magenta t-shirt. 16 fans who were wearing a green t-shirt initially were wearing a purple t-shirt, so on and so forth. Among the fans who were wearing magenta t-shirt, so on and so forth, among the fans who were wearing orange t-shirt, 632 ended up. After the exchanges were made, at most how many fans can be there who had an orange t-shirt initially but ended up with a purple t-shirt? Okay, this question is about maximizing, minimizing exchange. Next question is, after all the exchanges are made, what can be the maximum number of fans who had an amethyst t-shirt initially and ended up with a green or an orange t-shirt? Okay, again, we are looking at maximizing, minimizing. Question 3 is also again about maximizing, minimizing, then at least how many, and then at most how many. All questions are about maximizing, minimizing, which tells me I will not get the precise information in whatever information recording, capturing I will do. I will not get precise information. I will only get it in terms of variable. The table that will get made is something like this. I made the table beforehand because recording all of this would be difficult in my handwriting. So let's go on. Let's record all the information. 16 fans who were wearing a purple t-shirt initially were wearing a magenta t-shirt. Okay, so 16 fans who were wearing a purple t-shirt initially were finally wearing a magenta t-shirt. This I know. We also know before and after the exchange, no one was wearing a t-shirt of his initial color. So these spots, there were 16 people who had a purple t-shirt initially, but finally had a magenta t-shirt. This line I have captured here. Next, 16 fans who were wearing a green t-shirt initially were wearing a purple t-shirt. Green to purple is 16. Okay, this is 16. Among the fans who were wearing a magenta t-shirt, 16, 22, 26, 22 fans ended up with amethyst, orange, purple, and green respectively. So 16, 22, 26, and 22. This much we know. Let's see if this adds up to 86. 16 plus 22, 38. 38 plus 22 is 60. 60 plus 26 is 86. So yes, we have all the information about the magenta folk. Every number that we need for this row is available to us. Wonderful. Among the fans who were wearing an orange t-shirt, 6 and 32 fans ended up with a magenta and an amethyst t-shirt respectively. So 6 fans here and 32 fans here, we know for certain. Okay, and the information stops. I remember from the questions that we needed to create something algebraic so that we can maximize, minimize, all of that can be done. Let's go ahead and try to fill out this table by using minimum variables possible. Do not introduce variables willy-nilly. Only introduce variables when you can reduce their count, only when a new thing is required. So for the magenta column, I have 6 mentioned here, 16 mentioned here. So amethyst and green totals will add up to 64. So if I introduce a variable a here, I will get 64 minus a here. And notice I write it in the corner in smaller font than other numbers. Other numbers are guaranteed. This is something that will be adjusted. When I look at the amethyst column, 16 and 32, 48 have been mentioned. So 30 are left. So if I introduce a variable b here, this will be 48 is gone, no? So 30 minus b. Okay. And now look at the green row. 64 is mentioned. 16 is mentioned. 64 and 16 is 80. 80 plus 30 is 110. We need 10 more plus a plus b. Basically, in recording this, you have to ensure that you take care of variables separately and you take care of numbers separately so that your processing remains simple. I don't want to engage in an equation writing 120 minus 16 minus 64 plus a and 30 minus 30 plus b. I don't want to write that entirely. I want to get to these expressions really, really quickly. Okay. I don't want to introduce a new variable in orange right now because there are two unknowns left and variables have already been introduced. I'll come to it later. In purple, I can do something. I have 26 here. I have 16 here. So 42 people have been taken care of out of 62. So 20 are left. So if I introduced a variable c here, this will be 20 minus c. This will be 20 minus c. Now look at the orange row. I have 6 plus 32 is 38. 38 plus 20 is 58. I already have 58 in terms of numbers, but I need a total of 54 only. So this portion here should have a minus 4. And because minus c is here, I want the variable to go away. This should be c minus 4. Okay, so now we are left with 4 cells: amethyst to orange, amethyst to green, purple to orange, and purple to green. 4 are left. Okay, so let's do, I would have to introduce a new variable for them. So let's say I introduce d here. If I introduce a d here, the number that will come here will, first thing I know is it will have minus a, minus b, minus d. 3 variables will get out of running. And I have 22 plus 10, 32 mentioned here. 32 mentioned here. We are going up till 54, so it should be 22 here. No, 20 here. It should be 20 here. No, wait. 22. How 20? I'm thinking 52. Sorry. It should be 22 here. Okay. Now for the purple row, this number here, amethyst row, I have total 78 ADC here. So this here will be 78 minus a minus c minus d. This is also done. And for green, I can do it this way. I can do it this way. Both ways I can do it. C will go away. A and D will have to be added, because minus c and plus c will balance each other out. I need a plus a, I need a plus d, so that variables are no longer in consideration. I have 78 plus 22, 100. 100 minus 4 is 96. So this should be 24 plus a plus d. I have 24 plus a plus d. Let's see if this balances with what we need here. 16 plus 22 is 38. 38 plus 24 is 62. Yes, everything balances. We now have all our variables in play here. The next thing that we have to take care of is the numbers that are filled within this table. Each of these spots should be filled by a whole number. It cannot be anything else. So if each of these spots is filled by a whole number, look at everything that is a constant minus a variable, or a variable minus a constant. Because those expressions are going to give us some information. So look at 64 minus a. Can I, because I know this has to be greater than or equal to 0, a has to be less than or equal to 64. This I can confidently infer. Similarly, look at amethyst, green to amethyst, 30 minus b. So b has to be less than or equal to 30. Now look at purple to orange. This is interesting because a plus b plus d has to be less than or equal to 22. 2. And as soon as you have this, can you say the first two conditions have become pretty much useless? If a plus b plus d is less than equal to 22, b will automatically be less than 30 and a will automatically be less than 64. We can still keep it around, but they no longer serve a purpose. Then we look at purple, orange to purple. C has to be less than equal to 20. Otherwise, the orange to purple shift will become a negative number, which is not possible. We also have A plus C plus D less than equal to 78. Okay, this we get from amethyst to green shift. And finally, the most critical bit. See, so far we have been doing constant minus variables. The only expression where we have a variable minus constant is C minus 4. This also tells me C has to be greater than equal to 4. This is a critical condition that we have to take care of. C has to be greater than equal to 4. Let's get to individual questions. The first one, after all the exchanges are made, at most how many fans can be there who had an orange t-shirt initially but ended up with a purple shirt? Orange t-shirt initially and ended up with a purple shirt. I have to maximize 20 minus C. If I have to maximize 20 minus C, I have to minimize C, and the minimum value that C can take is 4. Therefore, 20 minus C would be 16. The max case for 20 minus C would be 16. Answer to the first question is option C, 16. Next, after all the exchanges are made, what can be the maximum number of fans who had an amethyst t-shirt initially and ended up with a green or an orange t-shirt? Okay. Amethyst to green or an orange. We have to maximize 78 minus A minus C minus D plus D. So these two are anyway cancelled. I have to maximize 78 minus A minus C. So I have to minimize A plus C. My focus is on minimizing A plus C. I have very limited space. If I have to minimize A plus C, minimum value that C has to take is 4. What is the minimum value A can take? A can take a minimum value of 0. So if A takes a value of 0 and C takes a value of 4, all the conditions here are met. If all the conditions are met, what is the maximum value of 78 minus A minus C minus D? A is 0. D is anyway cancelled out. 78 minus C would be 74. So answer to the second question would be option B, 74. Next one. After the exchanges were made, if the number of fans who initially had a green t-shirt and now had an orange t-shirt was 22. So green initially and orange now is 22. So what we have been told is A plus B is 12. A plus B is 12. So for this particular case, what I'm doing is I'm writing this as 22. And any place where I have A plus B, I can write the precise value here. So 22 minus A plus B. A plus B is 12. So 10 minus D I have now. 10 minus D I have now. Okay. Let us see more what the question actually is asking me. Then at least how many fans who had a purple t-shirt initially ended up with a green t-shirt? Purple to green. At least how many fans? Okay. If I want at least how many fans who had purple initially and ended up with green, can we see? I want to minimize 24 plus A plus D. I want to minimize 24 plus A plus D. This minimizing I want to do. Can I take A as 0 and D as 0? Let me see. If I try to fill it up, does it make a difference? That would also mean if I take A as 0, I am taking B as 12. Do I get an acceptable case with this? A as 0, this would turn to 64. This will turn to 18. This will turn to 12. This will turn to 0. C I don't really care for. I can take it as 4 or whatever. But 64, 18, 22, life is chill. This will turn to 10. 16, 12, 10 is 38. 38 plus. This will turn to 24. See if I'm taking it as 4. I'm taking C as 4. So this will turn to 0. This will turn to 20. and this will turn to 74. Yes, all numbers are fitting appropriately at all spots that I want them to. So what is the minimum number of people who initially had purple and ended up with green? The answer to the question will be 24. Last question. After all the exchanges were made, if 11 fans who had purple t-shirt initially, okay, first let me get rid of all these red markings because they were only valid for question 3. They're not valid for subsequent questions. Get rid, get away. Okay. So now what are we told? After all the exchanges are made, if 11 fans who had a purple t-shirt initially ended up with an amethyst t-shirt, purple to amethyst is 11. Purple to amethyst is 11, which means this is 11, this is 19 then. And then if B is 11, this is 21 plus A. This is 22 minus 11 minus A minus D. Okay. Anywhere else that I have a B? No, I don't have a B anywhere else. So let's see. Then at most, how many fans ended up with an orange t-shirt who initially had a purple t-shirt? So purple to orange, I want to increase. Purple to orange. I want 11 minus A minus D to be maximized. Again, if I want to maximize this, can I take A and D as 0? I simply have to check that. If I take A as 0, this will turn to 64. This will turn to 21 itself. This will turn to 11 itself. This will turn to 24. See, I'm taking as 4 again. This will turn to 0. This will turn to 20. This will turn to 4. This will turn to 0. This will turn to 74. Any violation happening anywhere? Not really. So what is the maximum number of people who had purple initially and now ended up with orange? The answer to the question would be option D, 11. And that is the entirety of the set. The second set doesn't require huge processing, but what it does require is you making this table initially and then trying to reduce the count of variables, because the more the variables you introduce, the more convoluted it would become and not amenable to solving in an effective time frame. That will be all for this week. Hopefully this episode taught you some things. Okay, bye.